in the midst of all of this 2 through 5 parity, the potential for parity at the bottom, let's not forget one thing. Villanova is the cream of the crop here, Dom. Easily.
Yeah, it's funny because actually when I was doing my research on this conference yesterday, I was using 24/7's recruiting class, and I'm writing the teams down in order based on the recruiting class. That's just how I've been doing my note taking. And on 24/7 Sports, they didn't have Villanova listed on the recruiting class list in the conference. So I had nothing written on Villanova because I just blanked on my mind that they were even in this conference. So I was quickly doing some research about it this morning when I realized that. And Villanova, they're going to be one of the best teams in the country this year. They're certainly a national contender. They're returning basically everyone but Sadiq Bey, one of the best names in the nation. Sadiq, wish him luck going to the NBA. I think Colin Gillespie is certainly going to be the favorite for Big East Player of the Year. He was so good last year, so consistent. He's been that, guard, that freshman, sophomore, gets a couple of minutes sprinkled in when they're just killing teams. And then junior year, he takes over. He's that guy. Now he's a senior. How well is he going to do? I think he's going to lead this team. I think certainly they're capable of winning a national championship because they got Jeremiah Robinson Earl, forward. He was great as a freshman last year. Jermaine Samuels, forward. He's not going to be a senior. This team is solid in the front court and the back court, which you don't see with a ton of teams, with some veteran leadership. I honestly think that they might be my pick to win the national title.
Wow. And and you mentioned some of the things to where the front court and back court is overall good. One of the things that has this gap being so big is that a lot of these teams have questions in the front court or the back court, and some of these teams have deep areas in one, but they're lacking depth on the other side. Villanova is an overall team. They're an overall elite team, and that is not something anyone else in this conference can say by a wide margin. And Jeremiah Robinson might be my front runner for Big East Player of the Year. I think his front court ability is going to transcend, and he is going to really be able to expose the weaknesses of some of the front courts in this conference. Another conference where we have plenty of good guards, but the forwards are somewhat lacking. Jeremiah Robinson Earl is a guy that will definitely shine in that respect. Colin Gillespie is another one. I think Villanova could very well have 1 and 2 in the Big East Player of the Year race. I think they're that good. And don't forget also about Tulane transfer Caleb Daniels. If he steps in, whoo, boy, have we got a very deep team on our hands. And for Villanova, they've had to really earn their Big East reputation as the best in the conference for the last several years now. As long as they play well, they have this conference in the bag. There's no team to me that comes close to matching what Villanova has. This is not a Big 12 situation, and to where we have a couple of teams that are going to have to really, really fight it out. And this certainly is not the Big 10, to where you have a couple or 3 different teams that can really fight against each other for that title. Big East is all Villanova all day. I don't think there's any question about that whatsoever.
No, the only thing that's going to prevent them from winning the Big East is possible injuries. God forbid, we don't wish that upon anyone, but that's the only thing that's going to hold them back. I also like to mention they got little Arcidiacono. This time it's Chris instead of Ryan. Arcidiacono, when he carried that Villanova team. Oh, man, that cost me a lot of money. I finished second place in my pool that year. By far the best bracket I've ever had. The person beat me by like 3 points because they had Villanova winning the national title game. I had Kansas. If Kansas just held on, I would have won so much money. But instead, Arcidiacono led Villanova to the promised land. And ever since then, they've been an elite program in this nation. And, the last time they played in the tournament, because, of course, they didn't make the tournament last year, they were a 6 seed. Where are they going to be this year? They were going to be a top seed last year. I'd imagine they're going to be a number 1 seed this year. As I've already said, I think they're possibly my favorite to win the national title. They're going to be a 1 seed this year.
Far and away.
The potential is through the roof for Villanova.
And I mean, there's pretty much been 3 teams that are pretty much the established top 3 in this country: Gonzaga, Baylor to an extent, and then Villanova. As long as Villanova is able to play well, they have this comes in the bag. Will they go undefeated in the Big East? I'm not necessarily sure. They might trip up once or twice, but this is certainly not going to be a year where they go 13-5 and have to fight it out with some other teams. I think they're going to have this in the bag.